Hello. Thank you for tuning in. You are tuned into Esoteric Guidance, and my name is Nehru. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to go ahead and get back into it's been quite some time, but we are going to go ahead and get back into uh, the ancient Book of Jubilees, and hopefully we finish this up here in the next within the month. Okay. And Divine also brought to my attention today that we are going to be covering a couple of other books. You have heard me mention Helena Blavatsky. Okay. She is one of my spirit guides. And she was the one chosen to introduce us to ascended masters, and so she wrote a book in regards to ascended masters. If you want to know who the ascended masters are, at least as far as what has been published so far, you can Google who are the ascended masters. You will find the list. Some lists are shorter than others. You will find that out, but there are some common ones that you will see on there. So you will see Yeshua's name on there. You will see that Jesus is an ascended master. Okay, I say Jesus because that's what you all call him, not because I do, because I call them Esau or Yeshua. Or the spirit of divine source. Okay, that's what I call them. One of those three. Respect is a very important thing when it comes to spirituality, and your ancestors and the ascended masters and the archangels, and respecting their name and calling them by their name, that honors them. Okay. Calling them outside of their name or by some generality or by some title like God is really kind of weak. Okay. So yeah, you can take that if it resonates with you, or you can just leave it where you found it. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start in the 27th chapter, which is actually where we left off. We did read the 27th chapter in the last video on the playlist, but because it's been a year, I can't believe it's been a year, and but we're going to go ahead and get back into it, and I'll start with the 27th verse. Okay, and again, this text is available to you. Okay, it's available online in PDF. Okay. So you can download it and study it, read it yourself, and then compare it to the different details and things like that you get in the Bible, which the Bible doesn't go into nearly as much detail as these other canonical texts do. Okay. The other, oh yeah, I did say a couple. The other book that Divine is going to have me share is the adolescence of Yeshua. So in the Bible, there is no mention whatsoever for 18 years of Yeshua. Okay? But they were living, so what were they doing? Right? Okay? So we are going to look into Yeshua's adolescent years, teenage years, and that. Okay? We are going to take a look at that canonical text as well. All right? Because the world at large probably wants to know, what did he do for 18 years? Okay? Because the Bible tells you that he was silenced for 18 years, but that actually wasn't the case. Okay? He was actually traveling. Okay? And learning rituals and things, and meeting with monks and other spiritualists and high vibrational beings and earth angels, and light workers and prophets and prophetess, and he was actually traveling, learning these different spiritual practices actually. Okay? So he was not subject to his parents for the next 18 years. That's not what was going on. That is in canonical text. That is not what was going on. Okay? He was sent out because Mary, who is an ascended master, Saint Mary, his mother, is an ascended master. She is on most every list that I've seen. Okay? Count Saint Germain is on every list. Buddha is on every list. Okay? Again, that I've seen. All right? So I think Surya might be on every list too. I'm not sure. Who else? Kuan Yin is on every list. Okay? Kuan Yin is on, nearly every list if you check for Ascended Masters. Okay? So, 27th chapter of the Book of Jubilees. And again, thank you so much for tuning in, Collective. And the words of Esau, so let me just go ahead and catch us up to where we are. Okay, so we are at the point in time where we're dealing with birthrights, which is very interesting given what's going on currently with the high vibrational beings, earth angels, starseeds, light workers that are going on this planet right now. Given what's going on the planet, the manipulation, we can see even back then it was going on, right, with the stealing of the birthright, okay, or the forfeiting. And the words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah in a dream, and Rebekah sent and called Jacob, her son, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother will take vengeance on thee, so as to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, and arise and flee thou to Laban my brother, and to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother's anger turns away. And he remove his anger from thee, and forget all that thou hast done. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. And Jacob said, I'm not afraid. If he wishes to kill me, I will kill him. But she said unto him, Let me not bereave of both of my sons on one day. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, thou knowest that my father has become old, and does not see, because his eyes are dull. And if I leave him, it will be evil in his eyes, because I leave him and go away from him, and my father will be angry, and will curse me. I will not go. When he sends me, then only will I go. And Rebekah said to Jacob, I will go in and speak with him, and he will send thee away. And Rebekah went in and said unto Isaac, I loathe my life because of the two brothers of Heth, whom Esau has taken him as wives. Let me read that again. I loathe my life because of the two daughters of Heth. I don't know what I was reading. Two daughters of Heth, whom Esau has taken him as wives. And if Jacob take a wife from among the daughters of the land such as these, for what purpose do I further live? For the daughters of Canaan are evil. Okay, so she didn't want her sons marrying any daughters from Canaan because she believed they were evil. And Isaac called daughters of Canaan, Arise and go to Mesopotamia, to the house of Bethel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. And God Almighty bless thee and increase and multiply thee, that thou mayest become a company of nations, and give thee the blessings of my father Abraham. To thee and to thy seed after thee, thou mayest inherit the land of thy sojourners, and the land which God gave to Abraham. Go, my son, in peace. And Isaac sent Jacob away. And he went to Mesopotamia to Laban, the son of Bethuel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's mother. And it came to pass, as Jacob had arisen to go to Mesopotamia, that the spirit of Rebekah was grieved after her son, and she wept. And Isaac said to Rebekah, my sister, weep not on account of Jacob, for he goeth in peace, and in peace will he return. The Most High God will preserve him and from all evil, and will be with him. For he will not forsake him all his days. For I know that his ways will be prospered in all things wherever he goes, until he returns to us, until he return in peace to us, and we will see in peace. Fear not on his account, my sister, for he is on the upright path, and is a perfect man. And that's not a perfect man like according to man, like without fault. Okay, that is perfect in the eyes of Most High, and faithful in the eyes of his father, earthly father. And he is faithful and will not perish. Weep not. And Isaac comforted Rebekah on account of her son, Jacob, and blessed him. And Jacob went from the well of the oath to go to Haran on the first year of the second week in the 44th Jubilee. Okay? A Jubilee is every 50 years. Okay? Every 50 years is a Jubilee. Okay? At least I believe so. I believe that. I'm calling that correct. How often is a Jubilee? Yeah, it's every 50 years. Oh, every 25. Okay. All right. So I have entered into my second Jubilee. Okay. Based on that data. And he came to Luz, return to sender, return to sender, return to sender, times 5,000 with vengeance and a sword. And he came to Luz on the mountains, that is Bethel, on the new moon, on the first month of the week. And he came to the place at even and turned from the way to the west of the road that night, and he slept there. And the sun had set, and he took one of the stones of that place and laid his head on it under the tree. And he was journeying alone, and he slept. And he dreamt that night, and behold, a ladder, okay, Jacob's ladder, and behold, a ladder set up on earth, and at the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of the Lord ascended and descended on it. And behold, the Lord stood upon it. And he spake to Jacob and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land wherein thou art sleeping, to thee will I give it, okay, and to thy seed after thee. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, okay. And also that is also, again, he said, Lord God of Abraham, so that was also Abraham's promise. So we're talking about the covenant of Abraham, okay, continuing, okay. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt increase to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the nations be blessed. And behold, I will be with thee, and I will keep thee whithersoever thou goest, and I will bring thee again into the land in peace. For I will not leave thee until I do everything I told thee of. And Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, Truly this place is the house of the Lord, and I knew it not. And he was afraid and said, Dreadful is this place which none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Okay? So he was looking at this place, this location on this planet, okay, as a gateway to heaven, wherever that happened to be in the part geographically of the world that he was. Okay? Haran. Or at least on his way there. Okay. And Jacob arose early in the morning and took the stone which he had put under his head and set it upon a pillar for a sign. And he poured oil upon it, upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. But the name of the place was Luz at first, L-U-Z. Okay, there could be something about the changing of a name. You could change your name. And Jacob vowed a vow unto the Lord, saying, If the Lord be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I may come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God, and this stone, which I have set up as a pillar for a sign in this place, shall be the Lord's house. And all that givest me, I shall give the 10th to thee. Okay? And again, that's the law. That was the law. Okay? Today, Divine has told us, okay, even in the religious book, Yeshua told us to give according to our blessings. Okay? So the person who gets paid $1,000 can't give as much as a person who gets paid $100,000. Okay? So that person who gets paid $1,000, it's okay if your heart speaks and Divine speaks to you and's like, only give 2% this week. That's okay. Okay? Because Divine might have you sow into someone on the outside somewhere else. Okay? The New Testament, the New Covenant, okay? The consummation of Yeshua, okay? That eliminated the rule of 10%. Every church that still preaches that is lying out their ass. And they just want your money, as much of it as they can get. Okay? No church should have hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in the bank. None. Okay? I would venture to say they shouldn't have a jet. Okay? All right. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've seen the number 122, and I'm looking at it right now. It's in the reference here. Okay, so we are in the 28th chapter now. And he went on his journey and came to the land of the east, to Laban, to the brother of Rebekah. And he was with him and served him for Rachel, his daughter, 1 week. And in the first year of the 3rd week, he said unto him, Give me my wife, for whom I have served thee 7 years. Okay, and again, back then, 1 week was 7 years. Okay, so in canonical text, whenever it speaks about 1 week, it's referring to 7 years. And I also am called to remind us, whenever it speaks about a marriage, the man who finds a wife finds a good thing. That is the man who finds their divine union. The man who finds their divine masculine or divine feminine, their contracted, okay, Akashic record partner. finds a good thing. Not the man who finds any wife. That's not what that scripture means. The ministers would have you to believe that that means any man, you find any woman, you found a good, no, 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 no. Everybody that you marry, okay, is not a divine union. Everyone that you date is not a divine union. Okay? There's one divine union for you, and if that one gets fucked up, there is a replacement. Okay? But there is one. You don't have five divine union possibilities out here at one time. You don't have that. No one does. Okay? The man who finds their divine partner and connects with them, they have found favor in the sight of the Lord, because they've done the work to get to that place to where they receive that divine union. Does that make sense? Okay? Not anybody. And in the first year of the 3rd week, he said unto him, Give me my wife, for whom I have served thee 7 years. And Laban said unto Jacob, I will give thee thy wife. And Laban made a feast, and took Leah, his other daughter, his elder daughter, and gave her to Jacob as a wife, and gave her Zilpah, his handmaid, Zilpah, handmaid for in hand. Help around the house with baby and all that sort of thing. And Jacob did not know, for he thought that she was Rachel. And, I don't know if they were twins, and he went in unto her, and behold, she was Leah. And Jacob was angry with Laban, and said unto him, Why thou dealt thus with me? Did I not serve thee for Rachel, and not for Leah? Why hast thou wronged me? Excuse me. Take thy daughter, and I will go, for thou hast done evil to me. For Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah, for Leah's eyes were weak, but her form was very handsome. Okay? So she had a nice figure. She looked good physically, but she was blind. Okay? I don't know why I said it like that. But Rachel had beautiful eyes and a beautiful and very handsome form. So Rachel had both. Okay? Who wouldn't want that? Okay? Again, everybody wants the man or the woman that their friends look at and be like, damn, how did you pull that off? Everybody, I don't care who they are. It could be a celebrity. It could be the man walking down the street. It could be the teacher. It could be the whoever. It could be the minister. Everybody wants the spouse that everybody else looks at and say, damn, you got that. Everybody, even high vibrational beings, and not in a evil way to make others jealous, but everybody wants that. And again, I remind us about being the prize and the winner. Everybody wants to be the prize and the winner. Okay, most don't do the work to do that, but everybody wants to be the prize and the winner. Okay. And Laban said to Jacob, It is not so done in our country to give the younger before the elder, and it is not right to do so, for thus it is ordained and written in the heavenly tablets that no one should give his younger daughter before the elder. But the elder one gives first, and after her the younger, and the man who does so, they set down guilt against him in heaven, and none is righteous that does this thing. For this deed is evil before the Lord. Some very interesting rituals back then. And some of those rituals are still practiced today in cultures, okay? In modern society. Okay? Okay. And command thou the children of Israel that they do not do this thing. Let them neither take nor give the younger before they have given the elder, for it is very wicked. And Laban said to Jacob, let the 7 days, 7 years, or 7 days, it was 7 days of the feast, 7 days of the feast of this one pass by, and I shall give thee Rachel, that thou mayest serve me another 7 years, that thou mayest pasture my sheep, as thou didst in the former week. Okay, so Laban was kind of a douchebag. Um, 7 days, and I shall give thee that thou mayest serve me another 7 years, that thou mayest pasture my sheep as thou didst in the former week. So for the former 7 years. Can you imagine spending 14 years with somebody so that you can marry their daughter? And on the day when 7 days of the feast of Leah had passed, Laban gave Rachel to Jacob that he might serve him another 7 years, and he gave Rachel Bilhah, the sister of Zilpah, as a handmaid. And he gave or served yet another 7 years for Rachel, for Leah had been given to him for nothing. And the Lord opened the womb of Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob a son, and he called his name Reuben. And on the 14th day of the 9th month, in the 1st year of the 3rd week, but the womb of Rachel was closed. Okay? It's interesting that Jacob, the one that Jacob desired most, was the one that Most High's womb whose womb he kept closed. That's very interesting. Most High does some interesting things, some very perplexing things sometimes. But he does, they do things so that, and I try not to say even he anymore, because they are supreme masculine and supreme feminine beings. I mean, how else do you get males and females if you created the beings, lest you be both? So, yeah. But the womb of Rachel was closed, for the Lord saw that Leah was hated and Rachel loved. And again Jacob went in unto Leah, and she conceived, and she bare Jacob a second son, and he called his name Simeon. On the 21st of the 10th month, and in the 3rd year of this week, and again Jacob went in unto Leah, and she conceived and bare a 3rd son, and he called his name Levi. And in the moon of the 1st month, in the 6th year of this week. And again Jacob went in unto her, and she conceived and bare a 4th child, and he called his name Judah. On the 15th of the 3rd month, in the 1st year of the 4th week. And on account of all this Rachel envied Leah, for she did not bear. And she said unto Jacob, give me children. And Jacob said, have I withheld from thee the fruits of thy womb? So he's like, we're doing the deed. Why are you looking at me? It's obviously not my fault, because Leah's had 4. So it's not me, is what Jacob was saying. I've had that conversation with someone. And on account of all this, Rachel envied Leah. Okay? For she did not bear, and she said unto Jacob, Give me children. And Jacob said unto her, Have I withheld from thee thy fruits of the womb? Have I forsaken thee? Do I ignore you? Do I not share my love with you intimately in that way? And when Rachel saw that Leah had borne 4 sons to Jacob, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, she said unto him, Go in unto Bilhah, my handmaid. Okay? So Rachel was getting upset, and Rachel was saying, okay, somebody connected to me, because I don't like Leah. And she will conceive and bear a son unto me. Okay? So, what is that called? Not a midwife. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on when a couple agrees to have another female carry their child. What is that? I can't remember. I can't recall. Okay. And he went in unto her, and she conceived, and bare him a son, and he called his name Dan. And on the 9th of the 6th month, in the 6th year of the 3rd week, and Jacob went in again unto Bilhah, and a second time, and she conceived, and bare Jacob another son, and Rachel called his name Naphtali. Okay, Naphtali. On the 5th of the 7th month, okay, by the way, these are the 12. Okay, we've covered that also. This on the playlist. Okay. Yeah. All right. So. And it came to pass, or no, and when Leah saw that she had become sterile and did not bear, she envied Rachel, and she also gave her handmaid Zilpah to Jacob to wife, and she conceived. Now, one of my questions about this is in regards to Jacob. And I guess it was tradition back then, and it was okay. You know something disturbing that I found out recently? And again, I don't follow entertainment news, so I'm I am disconnected. This is page 44. I just looked down there and saw 44, and it's 11:21 on the video time, on the actual clock in Malaysia. That is 44. Okay? I'm just seeing that right now. 44. 11:24. Or excuse me. What am I? Was it here? I don't know where my mind was going with that. Because, yeah, I'm not sure where my mind was going with that. Because that's 5, right? But divine was, I don't know where I was going with that. Maybe back onto the 122 thing. I don't know. Because that's, again, I can't tell you, and of course it's 11:22 now, but I can't tell you how many times the whole 122 things, 212, it's like, it's insane. It's crazy. And 331. And then I'm looking at 331 right now, actually, down here as a reference point. It says 2133 down there. So let me find my place again. And Jacob again went to Bilhah, and she conceived and bore another son, and called his name Naphtali. of the 7th month, in the 2nd year of the 4th week. And when Leah saw that she had become sterile and did not bear, she envied Rachel, and she also gave her handmaid Zilpah to Jacob to wife. And she conceived and bare a son, and Leah called his name Gad. On the 12th of the 8th month, in the 3rd year of the 4th week. And he went in again unto her, and she conceived and bare him a son, and Leah called his name Asher. On the 2nd of the 12th month, in the 5th year of the 4th week. And Jacob went unto Leah, and she conceived and bare a son. So she was not, I don't know what was going on, I don't know. And she conceived. So for a time I don't know, something was going on there, physically, health-wise, I don't know, who knows. Bare a son, and she called his name Issachar. On the 4th of the 5th month, in the year of the 4th week. And she gave him to a nurse. And Jacob went in again unto her, and she conceived and bare 2 children. So these are twins, a son and a daughter. And she gave the name of the son Zebulun, and the name of the daughter Dinah. Okay, Dinah. In the seventh of the 7th month, in the 6th year of the 4th week. And the Lord was gracious to Rachel, opened her womb, and she conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Joseph. On the new moon of the 4th month, in the 6th year, in this 4th week. And in the days when Joseph was born, Jacob said to Laban, give me my wives and sons, and let me go to my father Jacob. So all this time, the 7 years, having all these kids, I wonder were they expanding the house? Seems like they would have needed to. And let me go to my father Isaac, and let me make me a house. For I have completed the years in which I have served thee for 2 daughters, and I will go to the house of my father. And Laban said unto Jacob, tarry with me here for thy wages, and pasture my flock for me again, and take my wages. See, Laban was an ass. And they agreed with one another that he should give him as his wages those of the lambs, the kids, and that's baby goats, which were born black and spotted and white. These were to be his wages. And all the sheep brought forth spotted and speckled and black, variously marked, and they brought forth again lambs like themselves, and all that they spotted, and all that were spotted were Jacob's, and those which were not were Laban's. And Jacob's possessions multiplied exceedingly. Okay, and he possessed oxen and sheep and asses and camels and men servants and maid servants. And Laban and his sons envied Jacob. You can't even say make that make sense. That doesn't make sense. So Laban took back his sheep, and he observed Jacob with evil intent. Okay, where are we at with time? All right, we'll go ahead and stop there. Okay. Just to let you know how many chapters there are here. Let's take a look. Because again, I do not read ahead because I like to experience the truth raw like you like to experience the truth raw. So I don't want to come in here with any preconceived notions about what divine is going to say or what they're going to speak to me or anything like that. Confirmation with the horn honk. And I just saw the chapter 44. Okay. So there are 50 chapters. Okay? 50. All right. So thank you so much as always for listening in. Normally I would like to have some type of scenery or something, not just you staring at me reading. I don't think that's very entertaining. But there were no exterior rooms available in the hotel when I booked. So I have an interior room and there are no windows. So, yeah. All right. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Nehru and this is Esoteric Guidance. As always, be encouraged.